It was March 20th of 2022 when I got dizzy. I was working as a PA on a big Apple TV show. This was in Atlanta, Georgia. I was in the lobby of a big building in downtown Atlanta, and the world just started spinning. Nothing really traumatic happened. I didn't really bump my head or any injury like that. It just I started floating. That was the only way I could describe it. I got checked out by the medic on set. He checked me for vertigo. Everything was fine, but the dizziness was there, so they sent me home. I tried to work through it for about the next probably month and a half or so. I would still go back to set and work. Um, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. The dizziness was really the only word I had for it, but it was really this floating just out of body sensation, and then that started to get coupled with really intense muscle tension and just tension in the back of my neck, like headaches you could call them, but much more just like tension than just like a pain. um, it was terrifying. I thought, am I having a brain hemorrhage? Have I had a concussion? Am I having strokes? It was just, when life gets turned upside down like that, you just immediately just start thinking of the worst case scenarios. You kind of have no choice, I think, because your body is just your nervous system goes straight into survival mode. So what that turned into was me coming back to Florida to be with my family, going through a divorce during the dizziness, during the beginning of the dizziness. And what followed that has been roughly 4 years of a recovery process that I can only describe as um, difficult, uh, traumatic in ways, um, confusing, frustrating, disappointing, but ultimately one of the best things I ever could have gone through, and probably a really defining moment in not just maybe my career or my life, but just in my character and who I just choose to show up as just in life, and just kind of in my everyday. And I wanted to make a video about the things that really helped me through a 4-year recovery journey, which I still am in. I wouldn't say I'm 100% recovered, but these 5 things I'm going to share have really helped me reach the other side where now I know that I'm strong enough to get to the finish line, and I'm actually looking forward to life now beyond what I've been going through. So these are 5 things that will really, really help you when your world starts spinning. So I got dizzy, and I'm kind of correlating dizziness with anything that might be going on in your life that has turned it upside down. So whether that be a physical injury that is really limiting you and really limiting who you feel like you've been your whole life, maybe some type of emotional damage, some type of trauma, maybe like a breakup or a loss of a loved one, maybe a loss of a job, maybe just a point in your life where you thought your career, you thought your family, you thought you were heading in a very clear direction. All of a sudden, a storm blew, and now you're facing an entirely different direction. So dizziness in this video is basically referring to anything that is causing your world to spin. For me, it just happens to be physical dizziness, but for you, it might look different. But I can guarantee you, a lot of the feelings are probably very much the same. And I don't have a script written for this, so you'll just see me kind of glance. I just have a couple little notes that I took to kind of give myself some direction. So the first thing that you want to do when your world starts spinning is ask for help. Asking for help is one of the most difficult things I think we face right now, just as a people, as a species almost, because there's so much going on. There's so much pain everywhere that we see. We see it online. We see it everywhere, right? There's so many people hurting. There's no way that my pain and what I'm going through is worth somebody else's time. I think social media has really pushed us in the direction of feeling like we have to do it on our own. Somebody else's pain is worse, so they are the ones who should get the attention, and I just need to deal with this myself, and I just kind of need to man up or woman up, or for lack of a better term, just kind of suck it up and get through it. We are not solo creatures. We're not an isolated species. We die in isolation. And I want to encourage you to not let any fear of being a burden, or of being in someone else's way, interrupting someone else's story, taking someone else's time. I want to encourage you to not ever let that stop you from asking the universe, asking the world what it is you actually need. And that is support. I mean, we are, in essence, we're a tribal species. We are designed to grow and thrive and recover in community. And I feel like we've lost a lot of that right now, just because of everything going on in the world, but also just with some anger that's underlying, with a lack of trust. It's really hard to trust people right now. Who can I trust with my recovery? Um, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. So just want to encourage you to take that first step and actually ask for help, because I'm going to be honest, that's the only way you're going to recover. You will not magically recover by yourself. That's just not the way that life is meant to be. That's not the way that the world works. That's not the way that your body works, that your soul or your spirit works. So the second thing to do when your world starts spinning is similar to the first, but it is humble yourself and actually receive help. If you're anything like me, you're driven. You're a go-getter. You take a lot of pride in what you're capable of. And to actually receive help from someone is a different muscle than asking for it. Asking for it is its own hurdle, but then the moment someone actually shows up to help you, to receive it in humility is its own language altogether. To be genuinely grateful for somebody else's time, to be genuinely grateful for whether it's time or financial, or just an ear to hear, or an expertise, or a relationship to foster, to actually just receive it humbly for whatever it might be, even if it's not the thing that is going to magically cure you or help you, just to receive that help. What it does is it softens our spirit. It turns us back into that child version of ourself that had no choice but to ask for help. Even though we didn't know we were asking for help, we had help from our parents, we had help from our teachers, our community, people that helped raise us. We were always asking for help, we just never knew it. So as an adult, we tend to turn that off. I have to help myself. But to just receive help, it lowers this tension that we have. It opens us up a little bit to the experience of help. So I love this. There's two definitions to receiving. The first one is to actually be given something. The second definition of receiving is to actually experience something. You receive an experience. So what I want to invite you into is think about receiving help as an experience that the world might be giving you that is affecting your soul. It's not just affecting your immediate issue, the immediate dizziness. It's affecting who you are, right? If someone offers you a ride to an appointment, for instance, instead of just kind of receiving it as an action, what if you received it as an experience? What if you valued that ride in that moment? How might that open you up to actually affecting the other person? What might that other person be going through where your need is actually helping them overcome something that is a need of theirs as well? That's where the community, that's where kind of healing together comes from. So I want to invite you into experience receiving help, receive it humbly, and receive it with gratitude. The third thing to do when your world starts spinning is build your muscle of patience. Patience is the most difficult thing for me in my entire life. We want it. We want it now. I'll own it. I want it. I want it now. I actually wanted it yesterday, but I guess if I have to have it today, I'll deal with it. Patience is such a vital muscle that it is the only way that you can ever build anything meaningful in your life is through patience. Anything you ever touch in your life that will be worth it whether that be a relationship, a career goal, a family, anything like that, will require a deep, deep connection to patience. I like to think about it as if you were in a boat, and let's say your life is representative of this boat. You're in the ocean, you're going in a direction. Well, say a massive storm hits your boat, right? You want to keep going in this direction, but you have to weather the storm. Okay? So the storm has done a bunch of damage to your boat. Tons of damage. You're not just gonna get back in the boat with all of that damage and continue on in the direction that you were going. You have to take the boat somewhere and you got to repair it. And that repair takes patience. It takes time. So just because you're going back to a dock that might not be in the exact direction that you think you should be going, that repair is so necessary. And that time spent repairing it will get you so much further down the road or in the water, if it's the boat analogy, than if you were to just continue after the storm with all of the damage. So I want to encourage you to build that muscle of patience. It is a muscle. I think sometimes we think that some people are patient and some people are not. And while I think that's true in a spectrum or on a spectrum, patience is a muscle, and you can work it. You can breathe through it. You can accept it. You can shift your mindset. So I invite you into patience. The fourth thing to do when your world starts spinning is to develop and grow a service mindset. This is something that took me a long, long, long time. And I mean like genuinely over a couple years to really develop and really understand. When you're going through something that's difficult, it's very hard, you are naturally going to become very selfish. And not in like an evil, you're a bad person way, just in a way of all you can think about is what you're going through. You are all consumed by your dizziness, your injury, your affliction, your relationship, your misfortune. It consumes you. It consumes your nervous system. You become a crab in a shell of just yourself. And what that can do is it can really isolate you, make you feel like you're the only person on planet Earth. It can make you feel like you have no one, you will never have anyone, there is no hope, there is only darkness, because that's what you're feeling right now. And so what I want to encourage you to step into is a service mindset. And you know, the easy example is like go to a church or a place of worship and serve somebody. Go to a soup kitchen and serve somebody. That's the kind of movie version of service mindset. But service mindset means just look at your real life, right? Which is the world immediately around you, the world that you can physically affect, that is immediately around you. And how can you serve it? Just when you start to build this muscle, this kind of eye for where might I be of value, what that actually does is it completely reshifts your focus. It shifts your focus out of yourself, and it shifts your focus towards how can I be of value to those around me, right? If you want to get hired and stay at a really good job, or you want a really big career opportunity, right? It's it's not about how good you think you are. It's not about being owed anything, because none of us are owed anything, right? It's about what value do you bring. And when you start to think about what value do I bring others, that just kind of opens us up out of ourself. We become that crab that we kind of just stretch and shed the shell a little bit. I don't know if crabs shed, but we kind of break out of our shell a bit and we start to see the world through a different lens. So I just want to encourage you to go outside, get out of your own space for 5 minutes, right? Get out of your own head for 5 minutes. It'll come back. That'll come back, I promise. But just for 5 minutes, take a little walk around your immediate area and just see where you might be able to serve, right? Is there a neighbor who is washing a car that you might be able to help for 2 minutes, right? Is there somebody that is picking up groceries that you might be able to help for 30 seconds, right? Is there a stick that is in someone's yard that you could pick up and move. The tiniest little thing, we call them atomic, the tiniest little mindset shift can completely change the way that you are relating to not only the world around you, but what you're currently going through. And it can completely shift who you become through this entire process. Now, the fifth and last thing that you should do when your world starts spinning is something that's very close to me, and that is stay creative. Now, I understand a lot of you watching this are probably like, oh, I'm just not a creative person. I would disagree highly with that. As humans, we create and we build and we make, right? If you have built a family, you have created a family. If you have built a relationship, you've created a relationship. If you've built a business, if you've built a path in your job, you have created it. We to be alive is to create. With every breath you take, you are creating a new moment in the universe that has never existed before. So you have no choice but to be a creative individual. You don't have to be an actor on screen or a musician or a painter necessarily to be creative. You just are as a spirit. So what creativity does is it opens you up to possibilities that you've never really thought about, right? So for me, I'm a video and film director. That's a very important piece of my career, but just of my life, of my art, of who I am. So in the middle of this dizziness, I was very afraid to try and work, to try and film things because am I going to drop the camera? Am I going to fall over? Am I going to be, am I going to get too dizzy? I'm not going to be able to survive the day. Is someone going to hire me and I'm going to have to like back out? So many negative thoughts in there. But it was when I decided, okay, I can either be afraid of it or I can try to be creative, that I started to get hired to pick up little gigs here and there, very basic stuff. And what that led to is a full-time job with a company that I ended up working for multiple times. Never in my life would have thought that happened. What that job led to was joining a networking group, which led me to a doctor, which led me to another specialist, which led me to finally another doctor that was finally able to expertly determine what was going on with me. For me, it was a spinal issue that we're correcting. But all that came from committing to still being creative. It led to tangibly for me the people in the places that are going to help me recover fully from this. Had I have just been at home, just kind of wallowing and just sad and alone, I never would have opened myself up. I never would have even thought that these avenues were possible. So the world, the universe, it's going to give you exactly what you can handle. It will not give you more than you can handle. So the universe knows, and if you're a believer in anything, right? God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, it knows what you're going through because you are part of the universe. Don't feel like the universe is happening over here and you're stuck. You are a part of it. So the universe knows what you're going through. So, right, if you can handle 30 minutes of something today, the universe will put that in front of you if you open up yourself to it. And to open up yourself to it is to be creative. I don't necessarily mean you have to go out and paint something. What that means is think creatively. Is there a meal that you can cook yourself that brings you a little bit of joy? Is there something, can you go in a different direction on your walk today? Is there a different route you can take to work? Is there a different piece of your recovery that you can get a little creative in? Thinking creatively, it just opens up a piece of our brain. It adds a little bit of dopamine into our brain, which your brain probably desperately needs right now. And what that does is over time, it just builds. And all of a sudden, you find yourself in rooms you never thought. You find yourself in places you never thought. Um, so if you've watched the video this long, thank you so much. I'm super duper passionate about recovery and about healing and about hope. I know how it feels firsthand to feel darkness and to feel alone. I moved back home where my family is to a place where, I thought I thought my like deep childhood friends would be there for me, and they all had families. They all moved on. I kind of had no choice but to sort of restart from exactly where I was. And there were times that it was very lonely. Still can be. Times when it was very dark, very empty, very just what was the point of all this? Um, if you're in that place, I just want to encourage you that don't let that voice win. You just can't let it win. You just can't give up, because there is a version of you X amount of days, X amount of years from right now that is the best version of yourself, that is the most fulfilled, most life-giving version of yourself that you probably can't even imagine, and probably just will straight up disagree with me right now that could even ever possibly exist. So I want to encourage you, if you're going through something really, really intense, please leave a comment down below. And then anybody else watching this, please go into the comments and encourage anybody. My absolute goal with this channel and with a video like this is to make sure that nobody feels alone. And yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll probably just end the video right about here. Hey guys, this is AJ from Jonesyland. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel to help me create more content about hope, mission, recovery, and creative resilience.